Meanwhile, Beijing has refrained from ousting 4 pro-democracy lawmakers in Hong Kong, despite recent successive moves to crack down on democracy in the city.
The decision by the National People's Congress Standing Committee means that the 4 are likely to retain their seats in Hong Kong's legislature for the rest of an extended term, even though they've been barred from seeking re-election. The Straits Times' Hong Kong correspondent Claire Huang joins us. Many expected Beijing to rule that the 4 pro-democracy lawmakers had to go, a decision that would have been in line with the mainland government's plan to sideline Hong Kong's pro-democracy camp. But Claire, why didn't Beijing push them out, instead allowing them to serve for the rest of an extended term?
So, Ali, there are no details as to why Beijing made this decision to allow the 4 to remain for another year, but I will point out that the extension was made on the recommendation of Chief Executive Carrie Lam, who proposed that the 4 continue for another year, right? So as not to do too much changes for that matter to the LegCo or the Legislative Council. Now, of course, on a macro view, some analysts believe that this may have to do with the fact that, Beijing or Hong Kong, they do not want to do anything more to result in wider U.S. sanctions. Remember, U.S. sanctions were recently imposed on 11 of the top Hong Kong and mainland officials, including Carrie Lam, for their role in pushing out the national security law, which the U.S. side is saying, infringes on Hong Kong's autonomy. So to set the context, though, the 4 lawmakers were banned from running in the now postponed polls for the LegCo. And, given the turn of events, the LegCo President Andrew Leong has urged lawmakers to ensure that they carry out their duties properly in a statement he put out yesterday. But the 22 pan-democratic members of LegCo said in a separate statement that they were considering whether or not to participate in this extended LegCo session. And they said that they would gauge public opinion first. They are of the view that the Standing Committee's decision was a clear violation of the Basic Law, basically the decision to extend LegCo by another year. And they stated that the LegCo term is 4 years, in the Basic Law. So they slammed the Hong Kong government for asking Beijing to make a ruling.
Right. Claire, moving on to the arrest of Apple Daily owner Jimmy Lai. He was released on bail yesterday. What's the latest there? Is the situation about to worsen between Apple Daily and the government?
Well, Lai did a tour of the Apple Daily newsroom this morning. He was released late night yesterday, right, after 40 hours in custody. So as he did his tour in the newsroom this morning, he was cheered on by staff, and he urged them to fight on, because he said that they have the support of the Hong Kong people and they cannot let the Hong Kong people down. Now, he also had some humor left in him because he said that he's lucky he wasn't sent to the mainland. Now, China has jurisdiction over matters or cases related to the security, national security, basically. So there are 2 things people were watching out for. One was whether the accused person would be sent to the mainland for trial. And the other is whether they can go on bail. Now, so far, it seems that, the cases will be tried in Hong Kong by Hong Kong courts. But we are still in the early days of a very long process.
Thanks very much for coming on the show. That was Claire Huang, Hong Kong correspondent for the Straits Times.